All right, everyone, let's run through the tropics here. We'll start with Gonzalo, which formed yesterday morning, a little less than 24 hours ago. We hit the G-storm, and it looks like it's probably going to end up becoming a hurricane here over the next 24 hours. May even see it as a Category 1 hurricane by the time we get to about 3 o'clock this afternoon. Now, I will point out that as it gets up into the Caribbean, it should be running into a lot of dry air and a lot of shear. That's going to weaken it and eventually knock it down. The moisture that's left over from this is then expected to go out into Central America. So we've got a fairly, intense looking track and kind of a scary looking track for Gulf of Mexico communities, but I do think that we're going to get some help as it gets into the lower Caribbean here by getting into some dry air. So we're going to keep an eye on this one to make sure that it doesn't do anything too funky, but I think for the most part, one of those things to just kind of keep on the back burner because we actually have a tropical system that is sitting off in the Gulf of Mexico right now. This is Tropical Depression 8, and it looks like it will be intensifying over the next 24 hours, should eventually become Tropical Storm Hannah by the time we get to tomorrow lunchtime. It will cross that threshold, and right now expected to stay tropical storm as we get it just north of about Corpus Christi. Some interesting models coming in, though, maybe showing a little bit more strengthening as it heads its way westwards. Now, intensification is built into our forecast. So no matter, tropical depression, tropical storm, we've taken that into account when we talk about our forecast. And so our impacts here locally, those aren't going to change. If you do see a quick intensification from the storm, the impacts from that are mostly going to be felt right along the center, which again is going to be out over through central Texas. When it comes to rain totals, this is what we're looking at. We'll stop this right around Sunday evening. We're probably picking up about an inch or two worth of rain. Heavier showers out through the southeast and along the coastline, and then the heaviest showers are going to be moving through Corpus Christi. Now, a lot of these numbers actually down from where they were this time yesterday. Hopefully that trend continues because there's some pretty intense looking rain totals that were out there. As we go through the rest of the week, we keep a lot of the moisture in place, though. We could be picking up another inch or two worth of rainfall. It's going to be a fairly wet week coming up. We've got to look at that extended forecast in just a bit. Let's zoom out here. We're going to take a closer look at the European model as it relates to the Gulf of Mexico here in a moment, but I did want to zoom out and kind of talk tropics as a whole. We've got what's called the Bermuda Ridge that's set up right now, and that guides a lot of these storms. They stay on the back end of it. That's what you're going to see kind of guiding Gonzalo. Now, as we go through, the European model, not overly convinced in Gonzalo. It kind of washes out again right as it gets into the lower Caribbean. Moisture from that works its way towards Central America. But if we take a long look, there's a wave coming off of the African coast right now, and that's what this is right here. And models have been fairly consistent developing this, or at least pointing out that it's worth watching. It's not a guarantee that it will develop into anything. There's still quite a bit of dry air that's out there, but that wave coming off the African coast right now, I think deserves watching. And then from there, it all depends on what the overall pattern looks like. But all this to say, it's the peak time of year. It happens this time every year. We start talking about the tropics turning on, and so far it's been a very busy season. I think that is probably going to continue over the next several weeks. We'll take a look at those models as it relates to the Gulf of Mexico here in a bit. It's 6:46 right now, 76 degrees.
Thanks, Danny.